So 1.2 is process models. The first is a generic process model, the one which is used in general, the steps of which are used for all kinds of process models are. A software process is a collection of various activities. There are 5 generic process framework activities. Number 1, communication. Number 2, planning. Number 3, modeling. Number 4, construction. And number 5 is deployment. So communication, the software development process starts with the communication between the customer and the developer. So a software development process will always start with a communication between the customer and the developer, wherein the customer has to list down all the requirements which it needs for the software. So the customer will specify the requirements which will be needed for the software, and the developer will make that kind of a software. So there is a communication between the customer and the developer. According to the waterfall model, the customer must state its requirements at the beginning of the project. So before the project starts, the requirements should be listed down. What all requirements will be needed for a particular software. Number 2 is planning. It includes complete estimation, that is the cost estimation, and scheduling, that is complete timeline chart for project development and tracking. So in planning, you will plan the cost, you will plan the time which will be required to complete that software, to complete developing that software. So the cost for making the software, the time required to complete the whole software will be discussed in the planning phase. Number 3 is modeling. It includes detailed requirement analysis and project design, algorithms and flowcharts. So in this phase, algorithms and flowcharts will be made to understand the various project design details. The flowchart shows a pictorial flow of the program, whereas an algorithm gives a step-by-step solution of the problem. Fourth phase is the construction phase. It includes coding and testing. Coding, design details are implemented using appropriate programming language. Testing is carried out for the following reasons: to check whether the flow of code is correct or not. So you check in testing, you check whether the code which is written is correctly working or not, the flow is correct or not. To check out for errors, in case of C program, by pressing the F7 key, we can check step-by-step execution of the program. So by pressing the F7 key, we can understand the step-by-step execution of the program. How is the program going? Or by using add watch, we can add variables and watch the values of the variables. Next is to check whether it is giving expected output as per the input specifications, to check whether the program is giving the expected output according to the input specifications. Next, last is deployment. So after you have made the software, you have done your communication, you have done planning, you have done modeling, then construction, then the last phase is deployment, to make the software ready for the dispatch work. So this includes software delivery, support and feedback from the customers. So you will dispatch the software, you will send the software to the customers for software delivery will be done for support and feedback. If the customer suggests some corrections or he demands additional capabilities, so if the customer suggests some corrections or the customer demands additional things, additional features, customer wants additional features in the software, then changes have to be made. Then changes are required for corrections or enhancement. So either there is some feedback, so that you have to make a correction, or if you want to add some features, then you need certain kind of enhancement. So in case of errors, corrections are needed. In case of adding features to the software, enhancement of the software is required. The 5 generic process framework activities can be used for development of small programs, creation of large programs, development of large system based programs. So all these 5 generic framework, what are the frameworks? First is communication, then you have planning, then you have plan, then you modeling, construction and deployment. So these are the 5 framework activities which can be used for small programs, which can be used for large programs and large system based programs.